realistically, to hit your goals, this would really just require 5 to 8 co-host deals. That's it. You do that in 1 year, you're your own boss. Look at this. There are lots of properties making over $100,000. If you just commit to doing this daily for 30 minutes to an hour, reaching out to property owners, you will absolutely make progress. You will absolutely have opportunities. You followed this to a T. You'd have 4 co-host deals and 1 3 to 5 unit apartment deal. You'd be making probably over $10,000 a month. All right, guys, we're here with Brandy, one of our elite Airpreneur mentees, and we're sitting down here today to come up with a specific game plan with Airbnb to hit her goal. So we're in lovely Miami, and what we're gonna do is figure out exactly how she can get to her financial objective by using one of the many Airbnb models that we usually work with, which are arbitraging houses, co-hosting houses, or arbitraging apartment complexes. And in order to do this, we're gonna go through 3 specific things today. So the first are your goals, right? Understanding what the target is that we're actually gonna hit, because that's what's gonna hold us accountable. Second thing is gonna be your current situation, right? And understanding what your finances are, Brandy, mainly so we can understand and I can make a better recommendation on which Airbnb models to focus on. And then finally is gonna be our actual like step-by-step game plan, split into 3 phases, which phase 1 will be like prospecting and landing deals. Phase 2 will be launching and optimizing your Airbnb listings. And then finally is scaling it, making sure that we grow to the actual financial goal that you have. Cool?
Cool.
All right, cool. So let's start with goals, right? Of course, we're all doing this for money, but like what's your target cash flow range?
5 to 7K.
5 to 7K per month. Okay.
To start.
Well, of course, yeah. Well, it's our starting point. We can always grow from there, right?
Yes.
Now, what's specific about that number?
What do you mean?
Why specifically 5 to 7K? Is that because like once you hit that range, you can pivot to this full time?
Yes, correct. I can leave my 9 to 5.
Okay. Now quit. I'm gonna put 5 to 7K per month, quit 9 to 5, right?
Yes.
Now, stupid question, but important question is why do you want to leave?
Because I want to have my own thing.
Yeah. So you want to be like your own entrepreneur? Like,
yeah, my own thing. I want to have freedom, work whenever like, you know, I can.
Cool.
And just basically mainly freedom.
Yeah. Okay, cool. 5 to 7K per month. At that figure, would you be able to do it? Would you be able to dive into this full time?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So good news is, Brandy, very attainable goal. 5 to 7K per month is like very realistic. It's very doable. We've had people in this community sometimes do that with like 2 properties, right? Now, granted, when we get to that point, we want to make sure that you have everything in place, you have the right skills, you've done all the necessary homework to be able to repeat the process and keep growing, right? This is like a really great 12-month goal, okay? I'm gonna put 12-month goal. And this is something that you should remind yourself of often, is like a year from now, November 2026, I'm gonna hit this 5 to 7K per month, okay? Very realistic. Now, beyond 12 months, just out of curiosity, where do you really wanna take this? Like in a perfect world, let's say 2 years from now, you leave your 9 to 5, you're focusing on your portfolio full time, where do you really wanna get this to?
Oh no, just basically have my own properties already and have people like, you know, because I know I'm gonna be like hosting it at the beginning and then eventually, you know, have people to host it for me. And
Like
just,
invest yourself, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
Got it. So you eventually want to like grow this to the point where you can then buy your own properties. Right, okay. All right, so do you feel like you'd be in a good position to do that at like 10 to 15K per month? Like you'd be in a better spot to start investing?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Got it. Okay, which by the way, great game plan. I think like getting eventually into purchasing property is the best strategy, right? Because then you get the best of both worlds, you get the cash flow plus the equity, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
I already have the experience on that.
Exactly,
So.
exactly. Then you can run your own
Yeah.
Airbnbs. So 10 to 15K per month is our 2-year goal, okay? Now, let's talk about like your current situation, because this will determine how we spend our time and what Airbnb vehicle makes the most sense. Because arbitraging a house requires less capital, but it requires some capital. Co-hosting requires no capital, but you make less cash flow. And then arbitraging apartments requires the most capital, but it also leads to the most cash flow, right?
Okay.
So first, let's talk liquid cash. Like what capital do you have available? Like what do you have set aside? And you can give a range. You don't have to give like a specific number, but like what sort of like, you know, savings, liquid, or like personal credit card type thing?
To give out every month, like to pay rent.
No. Just to like kickstart and get your first deal, right? Like, so what are you starting with? Like, do you have like maybe 5 to 10K that you might be able to spend to start this, or more? Do you have a little bit more?
5.
Okay, so 5K. 5K is our budget. Now that's liquid, right? Liquid meaning like you have it, cash or savings type thing. Okay, got it. So $5,000. Now, what about 0% interest credit? Were you able to go through the process yet with Donovan and the team to get yourself?
I was, but there's my credit at the moment because I don't know. I just lately I've been using a lot of. When I first started here, everything was good. I had more than 5K. Everything was good, but then things happened. So then I had to give out a lot of money. I have to invest a lot of money. So now my credit cards are like up. So
Utilization's up.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So then they told me that I should my credit I should bring it more up because it's down due to the fact that I've been using it a lot. And then once I hit like the certain credit that I need, I will start working on that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in the process of improving credit.
Yes.
Okay. So did they give you a rough timeline on that by any chance?
No, I don't remember. I gave it to them.
Yeah.
Actually, I told them within 2 months, I should be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what I think will make the most sense, right? So the fact that you're still kind of going through the credit optimization process, what's going to happen is you're still going to be improving your credit. And honestly, thankfully, you're working with the team, like our partners, because then they're not only going to walk you through that process, but once you're done, they're going to help you get the maximum 0% interest credit, right? Now, with that being said, because we only have 5K liquid right now and we're still in the credit repair process and we don't have business funding yet to be able to put into an arbitrage deal, what that means for us is we're probably going to have to start with a co-hosting property first, right? Okay. Which is honestly great, right? See, the thing is with co-hosting, as you know, like you're not going to sign a lease, you don't have to buy any furniture, you don't even have to spend that 5K on anything, and you can get a first property live, start cash flowing literally like month 1, and then that gives us 1, 2, 3 months to go through the credit repair process and then get you ready to then arbitrage apartments or houses, right?
And by doing that, I'm gonna get more experience of what how it actually works, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's like risk-free experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then on top of that, like you will then have a portfolio of properties. Let's just say you co-host once, twice, et cetera. And we'll talk more about the specifics, right? But if you co-host like 2, 3 properties and now your portfolio shows that you are managing professionally 2 to 3 properties, then when you go and you reach out to more property owners in the future to do arbitrage or apartment complex arbitrage, right? Then you're gonna have so much more credibility because you're gonna be like, look at what I'm already managing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, the other really good thing about this, Brandy, at least for the time being, is because you live here in Miami, the regulations here are a little bit tougher for arbitrage, right? So that actually means that for your first few deals, you can stay more local because the regulations are tougher for arbitrage. They're not as tough for co-hosting, okay? Because there's so many markets here in Florida that allow short-term rentals as long as like the property owner's listed, and then you can focus on those properties and still co-host them. Make sense?
Makes sense.
So we'll talk more about that in the action plan. But for right now, I wanted to get an idea of where we were at on this. So for 0% interest credit / funding, I'll just say work in progress, and I'll just say like 2 to 3 months, okay? Now, don't let this be a deterrent, right? Where some people kind of mess up here, Brandy, is they say, oh, it's gonna take me 2 to 3 months to get my business credit and funding and stuff, so I'm just gonna sit around and wait for that to happen. And I don't think you should. I think you should start making progress now because you can still hit this goal of yours. And then what happens is in 2 to 3 months from now, when the credit repair process is done and you're ready to start getting funding, then you can hit the ground running on some of those bigger projects, like the apartment complexes, the houses, etc. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do is we're now gonna pivot into this action plan section and just actually come up with a game plan on where we're gonna focus, right? So for phase 1, that's prospecting. That means like, we're gonna focus, like what are we spending our time on to land deals, right? Okay. Now the biggest thing here is the biggest needle moving task, right? The biggest thing, the highest leverage task that you can focus on at all times, Brandy, in phase 1, what do you think it is?
Getting to know hard work?
No. So that's like more doing homework and research, right? The highest leverage task is going to be talking to property owners, right? Like pitching and branching out and like letting people know about what you do. Okay.
Okay.
So first things first is you're going to want to, and this is going to be like these are going to be like your specific action steps right here.
Okay.
Are research regulations in target market. Now, the good news is since we're focusing on co-hosting first, you have a little bit more flexibility on where you can start. Make sense? It still might not be Miami specifically, but I would double check the regulations on that. Okay.
Okay.
And what you can do is research these regulations and then report back to me and Adam. Okay?
Okay.
Now, for a specific training on this, if you go into the elite modules, right? And we go to I think it's, here it is. Module 1, researching and navigating regulations. This training will give you a really, really in-depth breakdown on how to research the regulations in your area and then to determine whether or not they're ones that like you want to mess with. You get what I mean?
Yes.
So that'll give you a very, very thorough idea on what will make sense from a regulations perspective, okay? Now, do you have any target market in mind? Like any market that you wanted to target, like specifically?
I did, but now because of the regulation, I'm not 100% sure, but I was targeting Wynwood. Wynwood, I was targeting. I was also targeting, it's not here in Miami, it's in Fort Lauderdale, Las Olas, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood. But mainly like the most known places.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said Hollywood and what else in Fort Lauderdale? I'm going to write it down.
Las Olas.
Las Olas? Like that?
Las. With an A. Right?
I'm an idiot. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Got it. So I would research these because there still may be great potential for co-hosting. Okay.
Okay.
Because remember, with co-hosting, it's different than arbitrage. Arbitrage is like, if you're not the property owner, you might not even be allowed to list an Airbnb at all. But in many markets, typically, especially in Florida, you can list the property, like the owner can list the property, right? And then you could just be listed as a co-host, like a sub-host. And that will allow you to operate in a market that might have some regulations, right?
So Brickell as well.
Brickell, okay, cool. Now Brickell, as much as I love Brickell, right? This TV's going berserk back here. As much as I love Brickell, for the co-hosting model, there might not be a ton of opportunity just because co-hosting is usually a little bit better for houses, right? But keep in mind, there are so many people in Brickell that own condos, right? So I found this out today when I was touring apartments, that there aren't a lot of apartment complexes. There are a lot of condos, like condominium buildings, which means there probably are a lot of owners that have condos that they want to list for rent, and you might be able to go to them and say, hey, I can help you make more money as a short-term rental, right? So that's an opportunity for you. I would just double check the regulations first. Okay, make sense? Now, really, really quick, just to give you a recap on one of the ways that you can prospect some of these once you figure out the regulations, then you're gonna kind of move into step 2 of this, which is outreach and prospecting, which is like reaching out to property owners, okay? And you're going to want to basically do this daily for 30 minutes to an hour, okay?
Okay.
That right there is worth $10,000, right? This is where everybody gets tripped up, is they just ignore this. They do it once, they do it on Monday, Brandy, then they don't do it again until Friday, and then they'll do it again 2 weeks from now, right? If you just commit to doing this daily for 30 minutes to an hour, reaching out to property owners, then you will absolutely make progress. You will absolutely have opportunities. You think you can commit to that?
Yes.
All right, cool. So now actually I'm gonna move this to number 3. Number 2 is basically just gonna be rough market analysis to determine, I'm gonna call this a buy box. Do you know what the term buy box means?
No.
Okay, so, and this is like, I'm throwing out a bunch of nerdy terms, right? So buy box means, if we look at, like, let's just say you do the regulations search and you find out that Wynwood works, okay? If you look at the regulations and you're like, I can co-host in Wynwood, then the next step there is gonna be figuring out which pockets of properties will make you the most money, right? Because we might look in Wynwood and 4-bedroom houses make 100 grand a year, right? But if you go to Brickell, it might be 2-bedroom condos, right? You notice how in every market it might be a different type of property. Make sense? So now I can help you determine that, but a training that you're gonna wanna watch when you get to that point, after we do the regulations, because we wanna get this out of the way first, is figure out regulations, that's step one, okay? But then determining the market analysis and buy box, we're actually gonna go back into the core program here, not the elite program.
Okay.
And in the core program, you're gonna go to this, the co-hosting, how to analyze your market. This is a 30-minute training from Greg where he breaks down in detail like how to come to a conclusion on what properties make the most sense for co-hosting in your market, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this and give this to you. So far, any questions?
No.
Okay.
So far, so good.
Now, we don't have to worry about step 2 until we do step 1, but step 1 is something that you're gonna wanna do ASAP, right? Figure out the regulations. Another market I would consider, if I were you, in this part of Florida, this like southern part of Florida, is West Palm Beach. Mainly because, I mean, I know because I bought there, but there are a lot of single family homes that are very high revenue, okay? And there might be some other markets. Let me actually just pull up a...
I was thinking maybe Coral Gables too.
I mean, as long as the regulations make sense, there has to be.
Yeah, because in Coral Gables is more like houses too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna cap it to these 5 for right now, so that way we don't have like, you're not trying to research like 30 markets, okay?
Okay.
But the good news is we can find a market, we can very likely, Brandy, find a market within 20, 30 minutes of you that like you can drive to, you can set up your properties, you don't have to fly across the country, right? You can do that after you quit your job and when we're launching like big apartment deals.
Okay.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, cool. Now, the outreach and prospecting thing, when it comes to co-hosting, okay? A training that you're really gonna wanna focus on is, again, we're gonna go back to the core program here and then module 2. And we've got this really, really in-depth section here for co-hosting, right? And there are so many trainings here on how to find properties and basically reach out to the property owners. I'm gonna show you one of my favorite methods, okay? Right now. You remember Hot Pads, right? Our favorite website. I'm gonna increase the brightness here a little bit. So let's just say you're doing Coral Gables and we hit search. Okay. One of the things that I love to do here is we go to all filters and we go to houses and then you go to furnished and then for rent by owner. Boom. Now, there might not be a lot. Right now there's only 2. Okay. But it's okay. You're looking at like 4 or 5 different markets, right? This house, for example, this one's 5250. Really nice house. Furnished. Now it's not like furnished to the nines, right? I think we could do a much better job furnishing it. But what this will do is this is the easiest, lowest hanging fruit for you to reach out to them and say, Mr. Mrs. Landlord, have you considered listing this as a short-term rental or an Airbnb? Because I actually think instead of $5,000 per month, we might be able to make 80 to 90, right? Or I'm sorry, like $7,000 to $8,000 per month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, of course, you can validate all these numbers through the trainings here, okay? And this training is going to be your best friend, which is analyzing and proposing co-host deals, right? Because it talks about how to figure out what the numbers might be and then how to pitch it to the property owner, okay?
Okay.
But does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, again, we can go through this in a little bit more detail, but your focus, really, if we just focus on these 3 things, you will absolutely make progress in a month, right? And we want to have, this is like our 30-day plan here, okay? Which is, we get this done in like 1 week, right? Which is, you figure out regulations. I talk to you in a week from now. Brandy, what are the regulations? And you tell me, and I can sign off on them for you and be like, okay, that makes sense. Cool?
Okay, cool.
But then this is the next step. You can get that done in literally like 2 through 3 days, right? I'll just say week 2, right? And then if you do that for 2 to 3 weeks straight, reach out to property owners every day for 30 minutes to an hour, you will, without a doubt, have opportunities. Without a doubt. I can promise you that. As long as you do it consistently daily, okay? But it has to be like a non-negotiable time with yourself, right? So when Adam and I were working corporate, we, just gonna like nudge that down. When we were working corporate, right, like we met at the library every day at like 5 p.m. And we would spend that hour just calling landlords, right? So what's a time that you can commit to with your job schedule?
7:30 to 8:30.
7:30 to 8:30 p.m. All right, you can commit to that?
Yes.
Do this daily for 30 minutes to an hour, 7:30, boom. I'm gonna message you at like 7:30, be like, all right, it's go time. Seriously, if you do that for 2 weeks, I can promise you'll have opportunity. Now, there are a lot of resources here on different methods you can use. Don't get overwhelmed. If you just use the one that I just showed you now, this is one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite. Now, there are tons of trainings in here on what to say when you get them on the phone. But the easiest way is, have you ever considered listing this as a short-term rental, as an Airbnb? I think this can actually make this much more. And really what you do is you just emphasize, look, what I do is I partner with property owners like yourself. I make the property passive. I help them make more money. I basically will just help you keep this thing fully occupied. You sit on your butt and collect money and you make more money. And it's super passive for you. And then that's pretty much it. And then you can get into the nerdy stuff on how to structure the deal and all that with this content. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, cool. So this is like really your phase 1 action plan. And that 30 days, like, you can accomplish a lot in 30 days if you are consistent with this every day. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Can you do it?
Yes.
All right, cool.
I'll do it.
I have faith in you. Now, let's so from a co-hosting perspective, Brandy, right? These might make a little bit less profit than like an arbitrage deal, but you can still, because Florida is a high revenue market, you can still find properties here that will profit you $1,000 to $2,000 per month as a co-host deal. Like you still get, because there are properties here in like West Palm Beach, for example. Like if I go to, actually, let me just try one of the markets that you mentioned. I just want to see what pops up right here. Coral Gables. Am I spelling it right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Boom. And then let me go to listings, houses. These are 4, I'm just looking at 4, I'm going to look at 3 and 4 bedroom houses, right? On AirDNA. And I'm just curious. Let's just see like what properties are making. Okay, like look at this. There are lots of properties making over $100,000. If you just co-host these, Brandy, like one of them, and you have an agreement where you make anywhere from 10 to 20% per month, I mean, do the math. You're making over $1,000 a month, right? Yeah. So now, not every property is going to be a $100,000 property, but like if you just find like 2 or 3 really good ones over the next 6 months, like you will be really close to hitting your goal. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, so here's the thing, is like launching and optimizing, this is something that you're gonna have to worry about after you get the properties live, and then scaling is what, like this is, phase 2 is something that we'll work on after landing deal 1 to 3, right? So this is not really something we're gonna have to focus on right now, but basically what this means is after you get that first property, and you get like your first 3 properties, we'll like make sure that you have the right softwares in place so you're ready to grow, okay? But now let's actually talk, like, let's say you do this and you land a deal in the next month. Then you get that deal live and it's like, okay, what do you do from there? When do we get the next property? How does this work, right? So if you can, this is genuinely something you can achieve in 30 days. Like land 1 deal in 30 days. That's like a great goal, right?
Okay.
Now, let's just say this 0% interest credit stuff takes 2-3 months, okay? What you can do is, I would say months 1 to 3, land 2. I think you could even do more than that, but like if you just land 2, okay? Then not only are you making your first $2,000 to $3,000 per month, but you have a lot of momentum, you have a lot of experience, and then that's when you're gonna get your credit repair, your 0% interest credit, and you're gonna be in a better position to pivot to landing your first arbitrage deal. And you specifically have, access to, like you're an elite student, right? So like you have access to learning how to do the apartment scaling method. And here's the thing, is if you land 2 co-host deals, you make your first $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and then you get your credit repaired, you get 0% interest funding, let's say you get up to 30 to 40K, right? Then you can just pivot right into these large apartment deals. If you get one of them, that tacks on another $3,000 to $5,000 per month, you hit your goal in a year, right? You hit your goal in a year. Now, of course, you're gonna have to launch it by month 6, and it might take several months for you to pay all that down. But literally, that would equate to 12 months from now, you hit your goal. Like, perfect. Like, land 1 apartment arbitrage deal. Now, that will depend on how much funding you get approved for. If you go through the credit repair process and then they're like, hey, for right now, we can only really get about 20K, then we won't worry about the apartment deal yet. we'll just do a really nice house arbitrage deal, right? Now, if this for some reason takes longer, or we just don't get the type of funding that we want, then we're just going to pivot right back into co-hosting deals. You could, from now until the end of the year, Brandy, you could, in the next 12 months, land 5 to 6 of these co-host deals and still hit your goal. Seriously, you could land 5 to 6 of these and still hit your goal.
Okay.
So what I think would make sense is we start with these. We start with landing 2 of these, and then we month three and 4, you and I reconvene, and we assess how your credit looks, how your funding looks, and how these 2 properties are going. Because we might find that like we can hold off on doing the big apartment arbitrage deals or arbitrage deals altogether if this is working out better. Make sense?
I see. Yes.
So realistically, I'm gonna go back up to this. To hit your goals, this would really just require 5 to 7, I'm gonna say 5 to 8. 5 to 8 co-host deals. I'd say 3 to 4 arbitrage deals. That's it. You do that in 1 year. You're your own boss. Make sense?
Makes sense.
What questions do you have for me?
Wait, so with this, right? So let's say I do that, everything comes out perfect, everything's good, and then I get my own apartments, right? My Airbnb arbitrage apartments. Can I still do this? Is it necessary, or like can
the apartments or the co-hosting?
The co-hosting.
Okay.
The other people, yeah.
Yes. So I would never give up on co-hosting, and here's why. Let's say you do this, right? Like you land 2 co-host deals, and then we look at your credit, and then it's good. And then you have the opportunity. It's like, oh, like I can get 30 to 50K in funding, right? Then you and I can figure out like what makes more sense, like continuing to co-host or apartment deals or arbitrage deals. But here's the thing, is co-hosting is always something you can do whenever you use up your capital. So here's what I mean. Let's say month 4, you get $30,000 in 0% interest credit, right? And then you and I say, we're gonna go after a big apartment deal, okay? Then you use that whole $30,000 on that apartment deal. You can't really get any more of these deals for the next 6 to 12 months. So what you can do is add on a few more of these. You get what I mean?
I see.
So what I would probably do, like let's just say in a perfect world, you do this, right? 2 co-host deals, month 3 to 6, you land 1 apartment deal, and then months 6 to 12, land 2 more co-host deals. Because the thing is, you're gonna use up all of your capital on this, so you can't get another one right away. And besides, you wanna give yourself time to pay back all that furniture and stuff anyway.
Right.
But you can still grow this. So, I mean, hell, if you followed this to a T, and let's say in a perfect world this happened, you'd have 4 co-host deals and 1 3 to 5 unit apartment deal, you'd be making probably over $10,000 a month.
Got it.
Make sense? Cool.
Cool.
What else? Any other questions?
No, not for now.
All right.
I think the questions is gonna come as I
100%.
cycle.
100%. Listen, last thing is like really just the mindset on this, which is like, you're doing this for a reason. You're doing this with a clear target objective in mind. So now we got it written down, like we have it clear, which is 12 months from now, you wanna make 5 to 7K per month with this, and we know exactly how much that'll take. All you need to do is commit to doing this stuff, and then this stuff over the next 30 days, and then this every day. Everybody asks me, Vince, like, how do you stay motivated doing this? How do you this and that, yada, yada. It was just because I did this every day. That's it. That's it. That's all it is. And you're doing this, you're doing something that most people are afraid to do. And as long as you remind yourself why you're doing it, and then it also helps that we're gonna bug you. Right?
Yes, please.
Awesome.
No, you guys are a huge help.
Cool.
Huge help.
I'm looking forward to your success.
Me too. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.